Hi, sixth graders. This is the second lesson for Fanfare and Processional. In our first lesson, we worked really hard on doing the first line with the triplets. And I want to take in this lesson too, each one of those lines to start with, and then that has triplets in it, any line that has triplets in it. And then I want to talk about the rest of the song. So let's start by playing the first line together. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3, go. 1, 2, and half note. 1, 2, and half note. 1, 2, triplet, 3, 4. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, and ready, first line. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, chocolate ice cream. I will eat it. What line do you see on this page that's exactly the same as the first line? Where is it? I think I found it. It's measure 21. Let's look at measure 21 and play this again. It's really important to practice looking at the different area, even though it's the same music. Okay, so let's practice looking at 21 and play. 1, 2, and ready, go. Good. Now let's take the other lines that have triplets. Line where measure 17 is, and also at the very bottom. So take a look what note the triplet occurs on. In the measure 17 through 20 area, the triplet occurs on an F sharp. All right, let's start in that measure where we start with the F sharp. I'll play it for you and then you can join me the second time. 1, 2, triplet, ready, and 1, 2, triplet, 3, 4, 1. Do it with me this time. Starting on your F sharp. 1, 2, triplet, ready, and go. 1, 2, triplet, 3, 4, 1. One more time. Ready, and here we go. 1, 2, triplet, 3, 4. Good. Now let's take the last measure. It goes from a high D to that low D again. So 1, 2, triplet, half note. And then you release the bow. Do the last measure with me. Ready and go. 1, 2, triplet, half note, release. Yeah, when you release, you let the instrument ring. All right, good job. Practice those lines very carefully. See you on the next video. So Fanfare and Processional, you just reviewed the triplets. Now let's talk about the rest of the piece. The rest of the piece on part 1 is it skips a lot. It moves all over the place. And so we have to really be reading our notes before we play them. So that's a technique you have to learn to prepare before you get there. And that means your eyes must always track the notes a little early. That's why musicians are so smart, because we have to track notes, we have to know what's coming, we have to know what we're doing, and we have to reflect on what we did and what we need to fix next time, all in one moment of time. Let's take measure 5, okay? Measure 5. And we're going to take measure 5 through 8. So track with your eyes. Look at it right now. We know we start with 2 open string notes, and then we go to 2 notes that we play on the D string, and we go up a little scale, and we go back to E and then open A. All right, let's do it together. 1, 2, ready, and play. Half note, look ahead, look ahead. Always planning for the next note. Here we go. Up a mini scale. And we go back down, look. Did you look ahead? Now another idea you can do is you can always pizzicato with me. That can sometimes help get us away from the bow if we're having trouble reading everything quickly. That taking the bow away and pizzicatoing can be really helpful. So let's do that again. Here we go, measure 5. 1, 2, ready and play. Look ahead, you've got time. Here we go, up the mini scale. Back to E. Now there's another spot in the song that we played the same music. Can you find it? If you're looking at measure 25, you are right. The same music, different spot. Let's put our eyes at measure 25 and play that line. 1, 2, ready, play. Look ahead. All right, so identifying like areas and really training your eyes to look ahead. Well, now I want to talk about looking ahead to a new line. When you get to the end of each line, one of the big downfalls or traps that you might get into is just keeping your eyes at the end of the line. But just like when you're reading a book, to find out what's happening next, you have to track your eyes to the next line at the beginning. I recommend doing it before you have to play the note that's on the next line. So let's practice doing this. Find measure 8. Measure 8 is the last measure of the second line, and it has an E and an A. And I want us to practice tracking from measure 8 to measure 9 and then playing all of line 9. Okay, so we're going to practice measure 8, tracking into 9. Here we go. First note of measure 8 is an E. 1, 2, ready and go. Eyes look ahead. Look at the next line. Keep looking ahead. Now it's a G. We go up a mini scale, but then we skip up to high D. Open strings. Of course, when we end there, where should your eyes be? The next measure already. Let's do that one more time. And this is a practice technique you can use throughout this entire song to help you prepare it so you can play it in class or perform it. Here we go, same spot, measure 8, first finger goes down. And 1, 2, ready and play. E, up to A, look at the next line, half note, half note. Keep practicing tracking ahead and practice every line on this page. So before we end lesson number 2 here, I want to talk to you about a metronome. A metronome is a pulse keeper. It keeps the beat so that your counting and rhythm is really concise. I use an app called Pulse. It looks like a green neon circle. And I use this so that I can stay right on the beat and make sure I hold my notes the correct amount of time. Up at the top left of Fanfare and Processional, I can see a word. It says maestoso, which I think I mentioned last time. This means majestic, so proud and majestic. And then next to that, it has a quarter note equals 76. Well, this means that every quarter note you see has a pulse of 76. And if you had 8 in a row, you'd pulse to that. You'd play 8, let's say, open Ds in a row. You play with a metronome at 76 beats per minute. I've got my metronome here. Let's hear what 76 is, what the speed is. So that's the pulse of this song. And let's try playing just 4 open Ds in a row with this, or maybe 8. We'll stick with 8. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Half notes, 4 half notes, go. Half note, half note, half note, half note. Now, 76 is considered the performance tempo, but because this is a practice and a lesson video, we're gonna dial it back a little and slow it down. And I wanna practice measures 5 through 12 using this, this metronome app, but I'm gonna go down to 60. So we're slowing it down. Let's hear what this is. This will give us plenty of time to look ahead and read our notes and be able to play in time. So let's start at measure 5, and we're going to do 2 lines starting there. 1, 2, ready, and go. Half note, half, look ahead. Next line. Very good. So keeping the pulse is super important. Now, before we finish this lesson, I want us to do the first line through what we just did. Now, when we're doing the first line and we hear the pulse, we're gonna go 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, triplet, 3. Being very concise with the metronome. So let's do it. 1, 2, and ready, go. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, triplet, 3, 4. Look ahead. Look ahead. 3. Always looking ahead. Keeping the beat. Measure 9. Did you look ahead? Get that app. It's again called Pulse and highly recommended. Practice your songs with this and maybe you'll get so good at reading your notes you can bring the tempo back up to 76 beats. All right, keep practicing. Bye.